what metrics matter. So I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I have my guess going into this. And I mean, you could say, hey, you need to have done more research. You should have read enough books or talked to enough people that you know exactly what metrics matter. Whether that's visitor visit or destination visits, like people that are visiting specifically for tourism, whether that's traffic flow, the number of RVs that are passing by a certain location, if it's proximity to a metro area, what's the number in terms of people movement or people activity that matters when you're buying or building an RV park. And I don't know. I know with mobile homes, the understood wisdom is metro, which makes more sense, right? Because it's housing. So housing needs people. The more people there are, typically, the better the demand is going to be for affordable housing, mobile home park housing. So again, initially, my thought was I'm essentially making my RV park into a mobile home park. I'm going to focus on long-term stays, and then my metric is the MSA, how many people are close by. And now that I'm questioning that and saying, do I want to focus on short terms? Can I focus on short terms? Is that really a better strategy? Will I make more money? Will I maintain occupancy levels where I need to? If you are focusing on short terms, is it still metro? Is that the key metric that matters? Or is it now, like I said, it's people that want to stay there, right? But how do you know that? Is that RVs passing by on the freeway? And because even if you were to have, like, you had some way to gather all that information, you had a camera out there that was automating this and was just capturing, could recognize, had a visual recognition that recognized RVs, and said, okay, 10,000 RVs passed by here today, or whatever, whatever the number was, because you're close to the freeway or on whatever road you're on, you were able to capture, okay, had this many RVs passed by here. Well, how do you know how many of those RVs how do you know how many of those RVs are looking for a place to stay or would stay if there was an appropriate place to stay? That becomes trickier, and I'm guessing, again, this is just spitballing, right? Like, somebody's going to say, oh, hey, there's this, here's where you can get that information. Here's who's gathered that data. Oh, my little guy's climbing the stairs. I hope he doesn't climb in the ladder. I hope he doesn't fall down. I think he'll be okay. So I'm guessing that you can, some places are tracking visits. There's some industry newsletters and stuff that's sort of informative in terms of that, but I think that's still pretty tricky. I mean, if you have a destination that is people are going there specifically for that, it's a recreational area, it's a beautiful area, it's a national park, it's a popular state park, it's a amusement park, whatever. There's something, I think that you can use some metrics to say, okay, how many visitors to the park? How many hotels stayed, how many other things, how many alternative things were done that are recorded and are publicly available that you can look at to say, okay, when I see this many visits and combined with this many hotel stays, or whatever those metrics are, that tells me that there's the demand for RV parks. And then even then you have to say, well, now that I know that there's the demand for the RV park, short-term RV park, how do I know why they'll come to my RV park versus another RV park, right? Is that, now you get into kind of the more important metrics when it's trying to find the park, right? Is it proximity to the freeway? Is it amenities? I'm sure it's both of those things, but which weighs more, right? Are you a little bit better to have fewer amenities and be closer to the freeway? Or are you better to have nicer or more amenities and be further from the freeway, which is going to draw more people? And then you got to get into also, which is going to be more easier to manage, and then that gets very complicated, right? Because now it's not just where is it, but what do do you have trees? Do you have fence? What are you doing for security? Are you doing cameras? Do you have an outside firm that comes and does visits? All these things. And I think those kinds of questions or decisions are the kinds of things that have in the past really crippled me and made me feel like, well, there's just too much to know. How am I going to know all that? And understanding that, yeah, it's important to be smart and it's important to have some kind of idea of what you're doing, but I think a lot of it, you can figure it out. I mean, if you make an obviously bad decision, that's going to be bad, but I think I am smart enough to not make an obviously bad decision. I think most people are smart enough to not make an obviously bad decision. Are you trying to go down the slide, my guy? So that's the the $1,000,000 question, right? What are the metrics that matter, and how much of that can you get over? It's like, well, my location's not prime. I could have done more studying and research to pick a slightly better location, but the time lost and the energy lost, the momentum lost, because I didn't purchase and I didn't move forward, and so I was slowed down. Now I'm on park 0 instead of being on park 3, and having slightly worse metrics. And so I think that there's real value to saying, hey, make a good decision, do a little bit of research and make a good decision, but move forward, be confident. If you're saying, hey, I'm focusing on short-term stays, I think I can find the people, then find the people. Make the amenities, do the work, talk to the people you need to talk to, work on the marketing, and get the people in there. So I think that it's important to understand metrics, and it would be great to have like the miracle answer to that question, but I think it's probably more important to move forward. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm saying, hey, I'm still making that decision. Do I focus on long or short term based on what I already have the park. I already have the location. I can't change that right now. I can certainly change it moving forward, but that's what I'm working on.